What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to the Punk Rock Review podcast. Today, I got a special guest. This is SAUL ROZEMA. I pronounced that correctly, did I?
That's right.
Excellent. From like the Oi street rock band Oil, and we were just kind of talking, getting to know each other, and we decided to bring it to you guys. We wanted to get to know each other with the fans of punk rock, Oi street rock, whatever you want to call it. Man, it's all kind of the same thing when you get down to the nuts and bolts of everything. It's all a very, very similar thing. So how are you?
I'm well. I'm good, man. Thanks for asking.
Nice, dude.
How about
Absolutely.
you? Hot over there?
Bro, every single day of my life.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. Houston.
Yeah, we're in Northern California. We're cooking a little bit today, but we get it all. Everything.
So you said Northern California?
Yep.
So, okay. I am new to the band, so tell me a little bit about yourselves, man. I Googled you, and Wikipedia told me that you guys were like a Christian thrash metal band, and when I found out that that wasn't the case, I was severely disappointed, man. I was really looking forward to some...
Well, all right, so let me just fill you in a little bit on my role here in this band, Oil. I'm actually kind of new to the game myself in this band.
Okay.
Well, 2 years or so. So Oil had an originals lineup 20 plus years ago. Okay. And just a hodgepodge of guys, and really put out some fantastic music. And, I was just friends with, a couple of the guys that were in Oil. In fact, Johnny Body from the Bodies fame, he was a member and a good close friend of mine. So he turned me on to Oil, and this was 20 years ago or so, whatever. And, it kind of gives you this aura of, you're wondering, how great is this band, even though you're friends with some of these guys, but you don't know any of the other members. I didn't know this guy. I didn't know Neil. I didn't know him at all. I didn't know half of the guys in the band. And then it turned out I did. Everybody runs off an alias and stuff, So fast forward to a couple of years ago, I get a text message from Neil, and he says, "Hey man, I hear you're playing music again. I was in another band for many years in the late '90s. I put up stickers here, man. Check it out." Well, I was in the Randumbs for many years.
Nice.
I remember. And then here's the oil sticker. But anyways, so he contacted me and said, "Hey, we're getting Oil back together, and you want to join?" And I said, "Hell yeah, of course I want to."
That's awesome.
So, Oil with the umlauts was born, and we started jamming.
What instrument are you playing currently?
I'm guitar, rhythm guitar, and I do vocals too.
That's what I thought. So Oil's been around for a long time, and
a long time. Yeah.
So, unfortunately, in this day and age, you can't just listen to a band. You have to like figure out who they are and what they're all about. So I asked a couple of my buddies, and say, "Hey, you heard of these dudes? Like, I've heard the name, and I think I've heard some of their music." And they're like, "Yeah, you definitely have." And I was like, "Okay, I just wanted to check. I think I'm going to talk to one of them on the podcast." And he was like, "Yeah, dude, definitely, bunch of good dudes." And I was like, "All right, cool." And so then I go back and I look that up on Spotify. It turns out I definitely have listened to your stuff because I'm following you already. And I was like, "Oh, okay, that'll work then." And I have a head injury, so my memory is just absolutely terrible. So,
hey man, I've injured my head in different ways, so I can't remember a lot of stuff too.
Dude,
it's real bad. It's actually it's fantastic music. In the beginning, it was really like Neil says, it was a spit take on Oi music. We all love Oi music. I mean, we all grew up on it, and it's just part of us. Stuff. But we're not from England, and we're not soccer fans or anything like that. But we wanted to play that type of music because we feel it, we like it. So in the beginning, a few apparently, this is before I knew anything about it. Apparently, they weren't very popular, because they were spoofing. But then as time goes on and the songs really start hitting, people really started liking it. Even the hardcore, Oi bands.
Well, that's something I wanted to actually ask you about was just the word spoof in general. Like Are you guys? Because I mean, like, if you look at the name of the last album that came
Yeah.
out 2 years ago, it's
Yeah.
called "The Glory of the Honor," and I honestly wasn't sure if I was supposed to take that seriously or not. And so I definitely wanted to ask you about that. So are you guys just out there trying to have some fun, or is there a serious side to the band as well?
Well, all of the above, really. And sorry, I know that's a lame answer, but yeah,
No, that's
we are definitely having fun. I mean, shoot, just look at. I brought some of these records here. Just for the fact, here's our latest one. Okay, so you looked up. What was that? Honor, the glory of the honor. Which one? Was that? Okay, so here's the new one. The honor of glory.
Yeah. Okay. That's okay. I knew I saw something that was funny, and I was like, this has to be a on purpose thing. I think that that's wonderful because most people in most bands they take themselves very seriously, and they're probably supposed to. But dude, you got to be able to smile. You got to be able to laugh a little bit, and I think that's absolutely great.
Well, here's what I we've played a handful of shows that have gone over pretty well, and generally when and we load up the bill, there'll be all kinds of we've been playing with this kick-ass band, and you got to check them out, called Skinny Pete and the Meats, and they're from the Reno area, and they're a kick-ass boot boy oi band, and those guys are legit, and they play music that is fantastic oi music, and they get us, they get it, because there's a very serious side to that oi music, right? And we're taking it and going, hey, listen, it's serious, but we're you know what I mean?
Well, you have to have, like you said, you have to have a little bit of fun. And I apologize for the noise. I'm trying to find that Skinny Pete before
and so what we're hearing from people coming in, because you know what? You're making oi fun, everybody's not just gonna, just be angry and mad, and you're out there smiling, and that's it's fun. It's fun to see that. And we're trying to make really good music, It started off as, really kind of just, throwing out, crazy lyrics, just stupid lyrics, and see if they stick. But that was sort of the fun. Now we're getting pretty, pretty, I mean, we're writing some good lyrical songs. We have Dave, he was in a band called the Working Stiffs. He's joined us.
I'm very familiar with them.
A fantastic lead singer, and he brings a good punch to the band for sure. Some legit oi,
There's a lot of bands that do that though, that kind of like toe the line between serious and not serious. Even a band like NoFX, dude, they got a lot of silly, stupid songs.
Exactly. But you know what? You groove to them, and you go, oh, yeah, you get it, and you laugh and you giggle and stuff. Some hits.
Then you have stuff like on the same token, man. On the other side of the coin, you got stuff like The Decline that they put out, which is a very serious EP, and you have stuff like The War on Terrorism, the Rock Against Bush stuff, and then you have Liza and Louise, and all these like silly, silly songs. You gotta. I think that's awesome, man. And I do think that at least in punk rock and in oi, if the music sounds good and it grabs you.
Yes,
that's number one in my opinion. And then if the lyrical content can get you to remember a band, you can't buy that kind of what would you call that?
Right.
You can't pay for that. That's invaluable. Yeah. So to grab somebody and then have them go through your catalog and find that you do a lot of different stuff too, I think it's a smart move in a scene that's so serious.
Well, I mean, honestly, all the chords have been taken. We've played all the chords on every band. Right. The arrangements. We could fill a whole album with just one single 4-chord arrangement that everybody uses. From Louie to Wild Things to, you know what I mean. So sometimes you gotta change those things up, make things a little bit different, whatever, in any way you can. But really, when it boils down to, when we were kids, you were singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and ABCs, and they're just really simple progressing songs that hooked you. You'll learn shit like that, So when we write these songs, we want to write these little hooky kind of rhythms, and we stick to that old adage: don't bore us, get to the chorus, you know, and we just start chanting, you know, and it hooks. So it's a good outlet, man. We can write really good songs and still be a little giggle, kind of little jabby jab stuff. But you know, like for instance, we got one that we are. There's a soccer team over in Scotland called Partick Thistle. Okay, apparently they're not good. We don't know anything about. So Dave, sorry, he's a huge soccer football fan. He knows everything about it. Neil a little bit, but all the rest of us, we don't know shit, right? But we grabbed this team and started to pretend that we were, you know, their biggest fans. So we wrote a song about it, you know. So it turns out that David Hasselhoff is also a huge fan of the Partick Thistle Soccer Club. So we like, oh my God, it's crazy. Look it up. It's crazy. So now we got, you know, a song with Hasselhoff, you know, it's just great. So we, you know, things just go and we turn it into an Oi song.
Dude, how awesome would it be to get David Hasselhoff to do like a chorus or a hook or a verse?
Well, here's some of the crazy thoughts that Oil has come up with lately, and Neil and I mostly are the ones coming up with crazy stuff. So Cameo is pretty cool, right? I guess so. We've been doing a lot of things with William Hung. So William Hung has announced the Oil record coming out. We just cameoed a bunch of things, and it's really fun. You know,
like William Hung, the dude from American Idol.
That's right. Yeah. And it's fantastic. We mock fired the new guitar player through William Hung. It was fantastic.
Bro, that guy, that's the guy that I want y'all to put on a chorus, bro. What am I talking about? David Hasselhoff for.
So with that idea with Hasselhoff, we thought, hey, Dave Hasselhoff, can you just sing Partick Thistle FC? Partick, just say that 10 times on the Cameo. We'll send you $200. And then we were just gonna rip it off and put it on there anyway.
Dude, that's amazing.
He's expensive, man. So
how much does he cost? Do you have a number?
You know, honestly, it's like $2,000 or something like that. I don't know. It's something.
Man, I bet we could raise the money for that just to get the Hoff on one of your songs, bro. That would be so fire.
Neil is a nut, and I'm sure he's sending stuff to him right now.
Dude, but I will chuck $20 down on for the cause, man. Just count me in on that.
We're gonna go.
That would be awesome.
We're gonna go. I'm telling you, it's a good song, good hooks. And if we got the Hoff on there too, man, it would go straight to the top.
Dude, that would be so rad. Yeah, I have like a little independent label that I'm running. I just started it again. I did it when I was in my 20s, and I just started a new one. And we're working on a couple of new albums. I would love to have somehow have David Hasselhoff as like associated with me in any way, dude.
Oh my God, you know who wouldn't, right? Yeah, so yeah,
that's awesome.
Running a label. That's how we I got started. Well, when I was in this band here, the Randumbs, that was in the mid '90s. We ran a little label called Chapter 11 Records.
Nice. And I was gonna say, I think the Randumbs was a while back, wasn't it? And
a long time ago. I actually retired for a long time, and then
Oh, no kidding.
Well, I've only been in 3 bands, right, in my life. And dude, I turned 53 this year. So I've been around.
Shoot, congratulations.
This band right here. That's the OG band right there. This is my new band, really Dirty West Side, local in Sonoma here. And Oil, you know, we got guys scattered out through all California. So we do a lot of the Oil stuff remotely, you know. So I'll come up with a chord, you know, or something, and I'll do what we're doing here. I'll just record something, send it off to Neil because he's
sure.
You know, then he'll doctor it up and put some tracks together. And then, you know, we'll come up with lyrics and stuff like that. So it's actually really cool. I like that. And then we'll get together, of course, to play a show. We'll just jam together a bunch, you know, real quick. But
technology's made it. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I said that's why writing simple songs, you know, is key for Oil. You know, we don't play together at all. We don't practice. You know, so
that's
if we
crazy.
Could you know, send off these guys. You know, a couple. You know, the drummer and lead guitar also live up here. So we, as a 3-piece, can get together and do before we do shows or something like that. So we get the little chord down, and then Neil and Dave will show up, and we'll do another, you know, a couple run-throughs, and then we'll, you know, go roll the dice, play a show. Usually generally turn out okay.
I will say, I was going to say it's crazy to be able to play a show without practicing much, but I guess technology was what I was also going to say. It makes it really easy to write music without being in the same room. I
Yeah.
guess it'll probably lend its hand when it comes to playing live shows. I mean, you can sit on a computer like this or a phone or whatever, and at least get the general idea. If you're a good enough musician, you'll be able to figure it out. And I mean,
Yeah.
you know, and with punk rock, the later the show, the more drunk the crowd, the less it actually matters. But
Well, that's what we depend on for sure.
I had a later in life resurgence with like oi music, man. Like when I was a young kid, I'm 41, so I'm not exactly a spring chicken myself. So when I was real young, I was street punk and crust punk and all that stuff, and even ska for a long time because I kind of like it. It's kind of fun to listen to. I mean, look, dude, like on the topic of bands having fun, look at bands like Mustard Plug and Skank and Pickle, dude. You can't all be serious. Anyways, but as I got older, I really started gravitating towards more of the oi music, man. I got into local. It actually spawned from a local band down here called Liberty and Justice, and I'm friends with those dudes. I've known them guys for 20 years, and their music was just so damn good, man. And I've always liked some oi stuff, but I just started. The older I get, the more I like it. I like the guitar tone. I like the vocal styling, and I like the lyrical content a lot. So it's interesting, man.
Well, I see you're wearing that Rancid shirt, so it's hard for you to not to get onto the, Lars Fredericks and stuff. He's writing some kick-ass oi music, man.
Bro, he's got a. What's up with the haters of that guy? Like, what's up with that?
I don't know. People, it's easy to hate when you're that good, I guess,
I guess so,
But they got a formula, and he's got it. And he's dude,
well, they're my favorite band, and they always have been since I was like 14 or so. And I just did the episode before this one. I was filming like 30, 40 minutes ago. I was talking to my buddy who I do a regular episode with, and Indestructible turns 20 years old in a couple of days. And we were talking about that. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, isn't it? And we were talking about how that record, what it did for us as people, and how it changed punk rock and changed Rancid. And Lars writes some really great stuff. I already knew he was heading that direction when he did the Bastard stuff, though. You could already tell. He was like going down the road. He was like, oh, he's gonna have like some oi stuff soon because that stuff has a lot of like Motorhead meets oi music. Boom, you got Lars and the Bastards.
Man, he's got a good formula, that's for sure. That's for
right,
sure.
Right. What do you guys listen to?
I remember when Let's Go came out, and they were playing around, dude.
That's the shirt.
Yep. Yeah, they were the kings of the Gilman Street. This band, that's how old we are, man. We were scrubs back then, wishing we could.
That's awesome.
But they're hitting it for sure.
What do you guys? Whenever Oil is hanging out and playing write music, what do you guys? Do you have a formula when it comes to writing the songs outside of? Obviously, you write something, you send it to them, but like as a songwriter, do you have a formula? Do you have anybody that you look to? Do you like to turn off music? Yeah, just in general. Yeah, as a group.
I'll tell you, honestly, like something will just. It's usually a little phrase or something. Something like I'll like something will click in me, like something will roll off as a lyric, and then from there, I usually just expand. And then once I have a basic, almost remember, don't bore us, get to the chorus is basically my motto. So and many others, of course, but when I get just that one little quick chorus, I'll just build it off from there and then try to maintain simplicity with chord changes because it's, I swear I've been trying my hardest to write a one chord song. And I'm almost there, man. I'm almost there.
Dude, I could probably write a one.
It's going to be real country, though.
Yeah, I don't know how many people would listen to it, but I could probably write one. Whenever I was in bands and stuff, I'm more on the producing and distribution side at this point, and promotion and such. But I used to play in bands, and I really wanted to do it, and I did very similar stuff though. If I had like a topic that I was really interested in, I'd like write the topic out, like, okay, what could I come up with that's super catchy in relation to this topic that I can write like a 2 or 4 line chorus with. And then from that, I would build around that and write verses to it. And then I'd have a melody in my head and go, okay, it needs to be like this. I'd have a acoustic guitar. I'm not a fantastic guitar player, but I can write a rhythm guitar. And that's kind of how we built the song as well. I think that's pretty common in the punk rock world.
Yeah. There definitely is trying to keep it simple, especially nowadays when we're trying to do remote stuff. And then you guys, they'll sprinkle a little something on there, sprinkle this, and try to tighten things up, add a few more oys, and that's usually what happens.
Well, whenever you have somebody that's listening to it after you've written it, and you're like, hey, this isn't final, but it's like, here's what I've got.
Yeah.
And they get it by themselves, and then they can like sit there and listen to it 3 or 4 times and then start playing along with it. That's when you get a lot of magic, because they go, oh, hey, I added this one little part. What do you think about this? And then you go, oh, yeah. Hey, what at end of that? You go, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da,
right.
And then they're like, oh, that would be a great end. And then you build this thing together.
What's kind of cool about having, we basically have 3 lead singers now in Oil. Neil's the original, lead singer, and he's the brute force grunter. Dave, he's got his own little style too, which is it's fantastic, and he's got a sense of like a timing thing that makes fantastic changes to what we've been doing. To the fact that we've been pulling in some of these old original Oil songs and playing them live, and Dave singing them. He's not the original singer of the song, but
sure.
Like a little delay, or he's adding a little emphasis to a word, and it just changes the song in a great way. But still, it's an original Oil song too. So just those little flares alone make it for fun, because we can have a topic or write a million songs. In fact, Neil and I pretty much write most of the songs right now. Dave has a bunch of lyrics, and he'll share and stuff, and the guitar player and the drummer hired guns, and they're good dudes, but they're not contributing to lyrics or anything at this point. Okay. So we'll come up with a little, whatever silly topic, but again, still trying to be good Oi music, but a little jabby, kind of a little sick. So, for instance, one of our latest ventures of a song that we're working on is some of the hardcore Oi bands are, really anti-hippie, right? And they want to get after the hippies. And there's a million songs. In fact, there's one called "Stomp a Hippie Two-Step" it's basically Oil's anthem song. We love playing it because it's just so over the top, angry about hippies. How can you be angry about a hippie, really? Whatever. So we're writing like, okay, what are we gonna do to make a hippie angry? Instead of we're angry at the hippie, Right. So we're like burning tires on Hate Street. Those are going into the lyrics, whatever we could do to, kind of switch things up to make it still jabby and funny, but we're still in that vein of anti-hippie,
Well, that's clever though.
That's
a good way to write songs. It'll make you stand out from from the group of other bands. Well, that's pretty important.
And I don't want to like toot the horns and stuff so much, but to the point where Carl from the Templars has joined us. Okay, and he's a big deal in the Oi bands and stuff like that.
I would agree with that. I'm familiar with the Templars. Yes,
the titles are on the first track. He loans his vocals.
That's awesome.
Johnny P. Bucks from the Swingin' Utters, he's joined Oil for a
hell yeah.
Unity.
So are you talking about for like features or like permanent members?
No. Little. What do they do that?
Guest vocals.
Featurings. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Features and guest vocals.
Who else? We got Johnny Takeaway from Hardskin.
That's all. Is this all in the new record?
Yep. Yeah,
that's awesome.
All the new ventures. So here's the thing. So the 20 years ago, Oil has finally grown on all these people where they get it that we are, we're fun to be with, So right. Now they're loaning their throats to a lot of our shit. So we got a whole bunch of lead singers now.
That's awesome. That's some pretty prestigious, contributors.
Yeah, toot the horn, toot it, toot toot.
I mean, you if you got it, flaunt it, right?
Well,
I
hey,
mean,
listen,
there's no point in.
he gets it. So that's what we like.
Well,
That these legit guys get it. Get that we're we're in it. We like we're not trying to be assholes at this. We
no.
want to make good music, but we want to make it a little more lighthearted and not so angry.
Yeah, I mean, it'll.
But pretend to be angry. We do pretend to be angry a lot.
It speaks volumes when somebody that's established wants to come and give you some of their time and talent, and I think that's pretty important. That's a nice. That's got to feel good. I mean, every time I get a musician that wants to talk to me on my channel, it makes me feel like $1,000,000 because I appreciate it so much. This is what I love to do. I love to talk to people. I don't have to know you to talk to you.
Hey, listen. I was thinking. I'm like, hey, nobody knows who the hell I am, and he's gonna do a little interview with me on his podcast. But you know what you're doing. You're asking questions, and we're just you're chatting, man. So
dude,
getting shit out. Pretty cool.
I've always wanted to do this. I used to do it to a certain degree way back when. You remember when MySpace was big, huh?
Yeah. I guess.
So
I mean, I never had it, but yeah.
So check this out. So back when MySpace was a big deal, I was doing album reviews and I was trying to get my foot in the door for like an actual print magazine. Yeah. So in doing that, I would go to shows in Austin and Houston, and I would try to find bands to talk to. And I had a little tape recorder, and I would just ask them 5 to 10 questions, whatever I could get them to talk to me for a minute. And I ran into Mike McClogan of Street Dog fame and Dropkick Murphys.
Yeah, I know him.
And I don't know if he'll remember this, but he got pretty irritated by my question because I just was curious. I didn't mean anything by it, but I said, hey, at this point, Street Dogs were a thing, and he had an album or two out, and I said, I know that you stopped playing with Dropkick to be a full-time firefighter in Boston, and that's amazing, and that's a noble cause, and I commend you for that. But I do want to know, do you ever think back on it and have any regrets because of the success that Dropkick Murphys have had in the last few years? And I don't remember exactly what it was that he said to me, so obviously it wasn't something crazy, but the dude was pretty irritated. So I've always remembered that. And I mean, it was probably like a fresh wound kind of still. Like he was, Street Dogs were real new to the scene at this point, and Dropkick was freaking everywhere. And it wasn't that. I think maybe he thought I was being a prick. I don't know. That's probably what it was, because I've talked to that guy a bunch of times. He's been super nice. Like, Mike's awesome. So, just to be very clear to anybody who's hearing this, Mike McClogan's awesome, man. That guy's really cool.
How much time do we got still? You want to hear a story?
Yeah, dude. Dropkick story? I would love to hear a Dropkick story.
Okay, all right. So, a few people know this story. In fact, Ken told it a little bit at one of the concerts. But when we were going big with the Randumbs and stuff, in fact, when we had that record label, Chapter 11,
okay,
Dropkick Murphys sent us some of their shit.
Let's go.
Yeah, they're like, hey, well, we were trying to be big shots. We're in Maximum Rock and Roll, so they sent us some stuff, and we're like, hey, yeah, we like your shit, man. Let's put out a little four band little EP. So it was the Randumbs, Dropkick Murphys, I think Working Stiffs, and One Man Army in Chapter 11.
Yeah. Bro, One Man Army is like one of my favorite bands of all time.
Well, So, anyways, so that happened, and then Ken contacts us and says, "Hey, man, we're putting together this San Francisco and Boston collaboration record called I've Got My Friends. Do you guys want to be on it?" We're like, hell yeah, we want to be on it. So we submitted a couple songs. And the funny thing is we're not really from San Francisco. We're from Northern Bay Area. We can see San Francisco on a clear day from Sonoma. But anyways, we finagled our way in there. We got on the record, and became pretty popular over in Boston to the point where they took us out. So nice. We played with the Dropkick Murphys, and Working Stiffs came with us too. And we played all around the East Coast, Rathskeller in Boston. We went to played Coney Island High. Anyway, so we were touring around with the Murphys, and they had this bus, this MTBA bus from the Boston, whatever. So it's a little bubble on the top, right? So, so we're cruising that thing all over the West Coast. Mike was the singer at the time, and they had another guitar player named Rick Barton, fantastic, cool guy. So we were jamming around with them. We got loaded out in Cape Cod, and I barfed all over their house. And anyways, that's good fun. We're about ready to leave, so we're driving back to the airport, right? And Ian, our bass player in the Randumbs, goes, "Hey, let me drive this fucking thing." So we're driving back to the airport and went under the overpass thing at the airport and cleaved the top of the van right off and left a huge dead Dropkick Murphy tour band with guts all over the place. And we're like, hey, thanks for the tour, guys, but we got to catch a plane. And that's how we left them. So
that's crazy.
We stayed friends with them still to this day. And one time, fast forward, say 20 plus years, that was in the late 90s when that was happening. Fast forward a couple 20 years, and I was there was a show here in San Francisco at the Warfield Theater. They're now Titanic, right?
Right.
Dipping up to Boston has happened, so they're massive. So they're in between a song, and Ken's telling the story how this band from the Bay Area came up and wrecked their van and barfed all over their house. And I'm like, "Oh, what's up, Ken?" And he drugged me up on the stage. He's all, "This motherfucker right here did it."
Dude, that's awesome.
So, it was pretty funny. So we know this guy's still not as well, but Al, they're kind of fading away a little bit in some things, health reasons, but still a bunch of good guys, And Mike, man, he was a really down to earth guy, and they cut their first record, and then he split to that firefighter thing.
Yeah, I was sad to see the Street Dogs go too, man. It's really funny that you mentioned two things. Just kind of blew my mind, man. First off, my apologies a minute ago. I thought you were done with what you were saying. That was just
I'm
the bus thing. It's really weird because like a couple of hours ago, I was just waiting on something, so I was scrolling through TikTok, and I watched a video of like this bridge that they call the can opener because it's notorious for trucks hitting it and peeling the tops of them off.
I've seen some YouTube and shit like that. That's pretty good.
That's got to be so expensive to wreck a truck like that, and then also the cost of fixing the bridge would be probably pretty insane.
I'm sure it's a pretty stiff fine too. Yeah, you didn't read that.
So the woman army, man, that's like I was just showing my friend.
So apparently Brandon just contacted our bass player Ian and said we want some reunion shows happening. So you never know what might happen in the future.
Wow, dude, that's like legitimately, man, like probably a top 5 band for me, man. Like I love that band so much. One of the only shirts in this world that I wish I had back was my Woman Army Fish shirt that had San Francisco. I screen print stuff, and I was thinking about bootlegging myself a Woman Army shirt because I want one so bad. But did you say that you actually did do that four band split? Does that exist?
Yeah, it exists. It's out there somewhere.
Oh man, yeah, I'll find one of those and snatch it up.
That's the one thing, man. I don't have anything. All this is new, so it's fresh.
Yeah.
All my other stuff, I don't know where it is. I'm not a good track keeper. Thank God for Spotify and stuff now, because I can listen to my own music, from back in the day.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome that exists. I am absolutely intrigued, and I want to hear it. So it was the Randumbs.
It was called Insufficient Funds. Was the name of the EP, and it was the Randumbs, Dropkick Murphys, One Man Army, and I believe the Working Stiffs. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. I'm gonna write that down real quick.
Yeah, Insufficient Funds. Yeah, you might. I'm sure it's on the old web there.
So it was Dropkick, Randumbs, One Man Army, and then what was the fourth band?
Working Stiffs.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we were all going strong at that point.
Dude, that would be a ridiculous lineup. Like, that's awesome. Bro, what a awesome story. Thank you for that.
I told you, man. I'm old. I got some.
I
I can't
talked
remember
to
some of these. Man.
whenever I talk to some kids that are like in their 20s, man, I'm always like, oh my goodness. And then I did this, and like, when? I'm like 1998. They're like, the 1900s. I'm like, dude, don't say it like that, bro.
Well, 98's a key. 98's a key year for me to remember because that's the year I got married, and
Okay.
That's when I, was like, hey, man, we got a kid coming, all that stuff, and it was like the Randombs time to fade away. It went off in the sunset. So there was a long period. I mean, there was a good long chunk where I didn't play any music. Of course, you always got music in you, and you do something.
Yeah.
But it wasn't up until seriously up to about maybe 4 or 5 years ago when a friend of mine in the grocery store, Ozzy, Shane Osborne's like, hey man, you jam something. I'm like, let's do it. So that's where this came. Was Dirty West Side. So Dirty West Side now is me and Shane Osborne. Kate Bruno is our drummer. She's rips. And Scott Maroney from the Bodies. He's playing the bass. So
dude, that's awesome.
Whenever I talk, record soon.
Dude, I'm excited to hear it. I would love to hear it. Make sure you get in touch with me so I know.
All good stuff. And then Neil's got a band, another one called Scunthorpe Yobs. Oi, straight up old school, straight.
Okay.
No joke, really. Noah from the Randombs playing guitar in that band. A couple of cats that I'm not familiar with. Oh, I think one of the drummer for Smogtown, maybe? I can't remember.
Not familiar with them.
Those are the Southern Cal guys. They got their own paddles in the water down there.
Sure.
Yeah,
man. Any music that's coming out that you want me to promote, man, shoot it to me, bro. I'm not big time in anybody, bro.
Honestly, I'm a rookie at all this kind of technology kind of stuff and actually keeping track of some of these things, dates and all that stuff. But I got good stories and all that stuff. But I appreciate all kinds of music, like you're saying, from getting into Oi late in the game, myself included. I mean, all the classics from back and Cockney Rejects, some of those things. Those are all punk at the time. I didn't have a genre so much. So now, as you get a little bit older, I remember this was in the late '80s. There was a club in the city called The Farm. It was a little dingy old place, and the Mentors were playing. Okay, remember that sketchy Mentors? So of course we went down to go watch a whole group of people, and this was my first encounter with skinheads. Okay. So there was a bunch of skinheads there, and they all had their flight jackets and their docks and stuff, and they were doing their thing, and I'm like, holy Moses, those guys are serious,
Right.
But they came marching over and they introduced themselves. Hey, I'm SF Bash Bay Area. My name's Baxter, whatever. And they're like declared peace with us for whatever reason. And I'm like thinking, this is right when like the Geraldo or whatever smashing with the chairs. So everything was like, everybody was like, oh my God, the skinhead gangs are here, So
everybody.
Sorry.
You're good, bro.
So that was my first, and then so you get this idea of, oh my God, and then you hear about skinhead music, and then
right.
Oh my God, those guys are angry, and then you hear that they got reggae overtones and things like that, and the original skinheads were reggae guys, and then you go, well, how does this happen? And then guess what? You're involved in all that whole genre, and you're listening to it all, you're absorbing it all, and then then you get exposed to all kinds of new stuff, fantastic stuff.
It all blends together really well, especially with the reggae and like ska punk, oi. It all comes from the same place, and yes, there is anger in all of it. There's anger in punk rock, dude. There's supposed to be anger. That's what we are. We're rebelling, and we're also trying to find find some brothers. We're trying to find family. Is that a midnight like the midnight like the band Midnight shirt?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. No, this is a freaking motorcycle shirt or something.
Bro, I was like super. I was like
one that
super
was tough.
Bro, man, I think that's one of the best and funniest parts of our culture is like the image we want to project, because we all do it. I've done it myself. I got my neck tattooed. It wasn't so that I could look like I was a law-abiding citizen.
We have a song about it. It's coming
Dude,
out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, I mean,
Where do you hear it? It's hilarious. And you will laugh.
So are you guys going to hit the road at all anytime soon?
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I mean, we tried to get, here in August. We all have lives, of course,
Sure.
And that's the one thing about, our level of band and stuff like that. We're just, it's not going to pay the bills. We know that.
Yeah.
So we all have to have the day jobs and stuff. And poor old Neil, he's in the Hollywood industry, so they're all striking. So he's got a lot of time on his hands.
Oh, that's rough.
You know what I mean? And I own a pool business up here in Northern California. So it's
yeah, I saw that on the email. That's in Southern California.
Sorry for the wacky man. I try that's the one thing about running a legit business and in a town where everybody knows you and stuff. And then they're like, what's that music you play too? And generally it's pretty. After they pick up their jaw and they go, but generally they're on board and laughing about it.
So I am by no means like famous or popular or anything like that, but I do have a substantial following on my other channel. Like this channel is what I just started it a few months ago, but my other channel has got almost 27,000 subscribers.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's taken me a little while to get there, but it's like a whole different thing. It's mostly hip hop and like lifestyle stuff. I don't do as much on it as I used to because I love this stuff so much. But I work at Alamo Drafthouse Theater. I'm a bartender part-time.
Yeah.
And I've had 2 instances where I was at work and somebody was like walking in and they're like, wait a minute, I know you from somewhere. And I was like, oh, probably my comic book shop that I used to have. It closed, because of COVID. And they're like, no, you're on YouTube, aren't you? And it's like weird, man. Like I'm like, yeah, what's up, dude? Like it's just, I feel like it's just something I do for me. I mean, it's weird. It's just a weird thing. It's got to be strange to be recognized.
There's a bit of weird and a bit of flatter in there too.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, very much.
I got videos. My daughter just graduated high school. She just heading off into college and stuff. But
nice.
Here locally, one of her classmates, it's a punker kid, he covered one of our old songs, sent me a video of it.
Let's go.
And he played it better than we did. And I was like, oh, there it is. Yeah.
These kids now.
So that like you go, oh my God. So that stuff is still out there and people sort of like it still, It's amazing.
Well, I mean, come on, man. Good music doesn't have an expiration date.
Well, true, good.
But these kids now, man, they are really crazy talented at stuff like music and art of almost any kind.
They're hungry for stuff too. I mean, they're hungry. The Circle Jerks just came around a couple weeks ago over in a town across in Petaluma, 25 miles away, 20 miles. And they sold out this place, the Phoenix Theater, and most of them were kids, high school to 15 to 16, going bananas, just absolute bananas, right? And I remember us old guys were out, leaving, early, and all these kids coming out all sweaty and just mangled up, and they're like, "What band was that again?" They didn't even know who. I mean, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, they're just there to have a fun time. They didn't know it was this iconic, old, the dude's 70 years old, man.
That's a weird one, man. When you have young kids that go to shows like. I mean, it happens all the time. And I mean, and I am also the old guy stands at the back. I don't stand up in the front anymore.
Oh, man, but I gotta work tomorrow, man. I gotta work tomorrow.
Yeah. I took my daughter. She's about to turn 9 in a few weeks, and I took her to her first show almost a year ago now, like about 10 months ago. I took her to see Catbite and Streetlight Manifesto.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then like maybe about 6 months after that, I took her to go see Days and Days. I wanted to be like familiar with like female fronted bands so that she knows she can do it too if she wants.
Yeah.
And I really like the ladies out there representing right now. There's a lot of really good women in music, especially in
Oh my
our
God.
culture
Oh
and
man,
scene.
there's gosh, man. See, my memory and names and stuff like that, I gotta do. But there's a couple of fantastic and older female singers that I've discovered. There's she's very popular. I never even heard of her up till about a year ago. Her name is Lucinda Williams. She's just apparently she's very she's a rock and roller type, but she's
I
got
think
a
I
very
know that.
distinguished sounding voice and kind of. But she was making some good rock and roll tunes, and guess what? Joan Jett just wrote a ripping song.
She has a
Make the
new
World Go
song.
Boom. Yeah, I just heard it on. I got that. I listen to that satellite radio when I'm driving around, and I play mostly underground garage. Is it that channel?
Okay.
Whatever. That's a hodgepodge. They play the Ramones a lot on there too, but every once in a while they throw in some. The Hives is on there every once in a while.
Dude, the Hives has got a new album out. It's really good.
What's not really good from them, right?
That's true. The Hives are awesome.
They're fantastic. And
that's a good band.
I can't wait to see them live. Man, just every live stuff I see on YouTube or whatever. I mean, they're just energy. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, and everything's grooving that they drew. Man, I don't know.
Right. That band is very, very good.
The Rancid formula, man. They just They're just doing their thing. That's good.
Well, the latest Rancid album is one of the best records I've heard in the past 10 years. I mean, it's one of their best albums.
From what I've heard so far, it's again, you couldn't tell if that was recorded 20 years ago, or
it's pretty crazy how those dudes still write such quality music.
Did you ever get into Tim's all his range of songs that he was doing? I think he was trying to put out one song every day for a year.
Yeah, the Tim Time Bomb and Friends stuff.
Yeah, dude. a lot of reggae, a lot of ska on there, mostly cover stuff like Sitting on the Dock of the Bay.
Love it.
Fantastic.
Love it.
Right?
Yeah.
Some reggae shit that he does. It's just awesome.
Dude, his stuff. That guy's got a lot that he's trying to get out of his brain, dude. Like,
I mean, he's got a lot on his mind. He's got to have it.
I don't know where it's
all good too. Really good.
I don't know where it's at on my shelf, but I have that Tim Time Bomb and Friends like triple LP. Well, shoot, man, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, dude.
Hey, man.
With the new oil stuff, is it already available, or is it something that's coming out? You're mentioning. I couldn't tell if you meant that it was on its way or if it's already listenable.
Okay, well, this just recently came out. We released this only a couple of months ago. All right. So
okay.
This is the new one. Okay. We also just released. This is oil. I'll tell you. We just did a split EP with this, or split album. This is our song.
Okay.
And then with a band called Van Stone. Okay, look them up on YouTube.
Nice. Okay.
These guys are the oil version of hair metal, heavy metal. So we thought we would do. And these guys are all like, Neil knows them. They're all B-movie actor guys. So they're very theatrical.
Oh, that's cool.
Do all kinds of killer stuff live. And Neil, he just gets on that phone of his and just starts rattling cases and see what happens. And guess what?
That's awesome.
Things like Carl from the Templars and P-Bucks. That all happens with the rattling,
Dude, you have to manifest things into your life, dude. It's the way it works, man. And
exactly.
I think that
just came back. No Front Teeth Records. That one's on. This one.
I've actually heard of that label before.
Mr. Face too, and Contra.
Contra's a great. Actually, that's how we got kind of linked up. Contra Records does a lot of great stuff. Didn't they do?
Yeah.
What else did they do? Is that the guys that did the Liberty Justice stuff?
No. Again, I don't know what else they might have done. Wish I could just hand this over. This is a good one. This is the little Unify Unity single.
That's awesome. Let's see, Contra Records.
Yeah, that's another on Crowbar too. Yeah, kill punks. Yeah. So oil. I mean, we're pumping stuff. So we have a lot of material to record. So
Okay.
we were gonna try to get back on the East Coast. There was some killer shows that wanted us to play. And unfortunately, with work and stuff like that, we just couldn't. Mostly my fault, sadly, but I couldn't make it. And but one day we'll get out. One day, we're gonna shoot for some long weekends. We're gonna play down in L.A. here in November, and then we're trying to, we got an annual event up here that we're doing during the 4th of July weekend, where we just had about 9 bands play.
Nice.
July, Oil played.
Little fest.
Oh man, it was fantastic. Had a good time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I will stay in touch, dude. I will keep up with your music, and I'll share it with my viewers as much as I can.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Like I said, dude, I own a little label and I do printing. So if there's anything that I can do to help you guys, don't hesitate to reach out. I do most of the sets on my label and stuff. So.
On you.
No, dude, it's all good. I'm here to help, man. Yeah. I'm here to help, dude. So it was a pleasure speaking with you, man. Is anybody you want to shout out before we go? Anything you going to get off your chest?
Nah, man. I said it all.
Nice, dude. Well, hey, man.
Hit the rewind.
Oil, dude. Go listen to it, man. Don't take life so seriously. Thank you so much for your time, everybody.
Thanks, brother.
Love you guys. We'll see you in the next Punk Rock Review podcast.
Maybe we'll make it out to Texas someday. Later, bro.
Let's go. All right, man.